Huffman's headlines. It's a Friday. It's the 26th day of July 2019. I'm C. Huffman with a look at what's going on around the world. And no clock today because I only have one subject that I want to report on. And it's, what does a racist look like? We have two stories this week. Two stories that came out this week that involves racist. And they look like your neighbors. They look like a teacher, like your neighbors, like three boys from around the corner. The first story comes from the NBC affiliate out of Raleigh, North Carolina. That's WRAL. It's a story about a white woman who went up to a group of black women who were, in her words, making too much noise. They were too loud at the restaurant. So she walked up to them. She told them that they were too loud. They had an interaction, and as she was walking away, this is the quote. This is the quote. "You are so stupid, nigger." That's what that white woman did. That's what she said. She said, "You are so stupid, nigger." And the woman was identified as Nancy Goodman by WRAL, and they went and found Nancy. They put her on camera, WRAL. The reporter asked her if she was sorry. She said no. She said she's not sorry. She said she would say it again. She said she knew it was offensive, and that's why she said it. She told a reporter, very brazenly, she told the reporter with the camera in her face, on one of the most watched local news stations in the country, "No, I do not apologize for calling that black woman a nigger. I knew it was offensive, and I'd do it again." That's the first story. The second story comes out of Mississippi. There is a picture that has surfaced this week. It's three white men. They are University of Mississippi students, Ole Miss, and they are standing in front of a roadside plaque that commemorates the site where Emmett Till was killed. There's a sign, one of those road placards, the historic placards, you see them all over the country. Now, the sign, when you look at it, has bullet holes in it. The three men, I call them males, they're not men. These three males, white males, are standing there in front of the sign with bullet holes in it, holding up guns. Now, it was posted on someone's private Instagram feed. If you don't know about Emmett Till, he was the 14-year-old who was murdered back in August of 1955 after whistling at a white woman, a child. The Mississippi Center for Investigative Reporting and ProPublica were able to identify two of the Ole Miss students. One is Ben LeClaire. He's holding a shotgun while standing in front of the sign with the bullet holes. And his fraternity brother, John Lowe, who is squatting below the sign. There is a third member of their fraternity on the other side with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. Now, they posted this privately on Instagram. It had 274 likes before they removed it, before the Mississippi Center for Investigative Reporting and ProPublica released this. It had 274 likes. 274 people saw that photo and thought it was cute. Now, this was brought to the attention of officials at Ole Miss. It was also brought to the attention of the local chapter of the fraternity. It is KA, Kappa Alpha, the Kappa Alpha Order. And I will give a thumbs up, Huffman thumbs up, as soon as this came to the local chapter to their attention. These members were suspended. All three of these members were suspended. Now, there is a report that there's probably a fourth person clearly taking the photo. But those three members have been suspended from Kappa Alpha. Hopefully, they will not return to Kappa Alpha. I would hope that. That information has also been referred to the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division for further investigation. These guys could face charges after an investigation. However, they are still going to be students at the University of Mississippi, at Ole Miss in fall, if they so choose to come back to Ole Miss, because university officials told the Mississippi Center for Investigative Reporting that even though that picture is disturbing, it does not violate any of the codes of conduct for the university. So the university's hands were tied. Now, I will note that there is no confirmation that these three individuals are the ones that shot the bullet holes through that sign. So, two things here. One, I watched WRL's report of this story. It was a great report. The reporter did a great job. The anchors did phenomenally handling it. But we have to stop using the term N-word, especially journalists. Print journalists, you have to start printing the quotes. The quote is nigger. Television, radio journalists, you have to have the guts to say what was said, and it's nigger. N-word sounds a little too cutesy. It doesn't offend people enough. It is not N-word. It's nigger. I've had this conversation in newsrooms before. What's the use of doing the story? That's what I don't understand. Why do the story if you're going to cover up what was said? N-word is not what hurt these women. It was being called nigger. Nigger. That was what that white woman stood by. She said it. She stood by it. She didn't say N-word. She didn't stand by N-word. She didn't offend them with N-word. She said nigger. And for journalism to stand strong and tall, you have to say what she said. And don't be afraid of it. And folks cannot be offended by journalists saying that word for a report or printing the word for a report, because they are the record of what is going on in America. And if you want true journalism, you say the word. It is nigger. That is what she said. That is what she has stood by. If you don't feel comfortable saying it, go find somebody who feels comfortable. I'm sure there's a black journalist somewhere in the building who doesn't mind saying it because that's how hurtful it is. Someone needs to say it. And I think at WRL and all the stations in Raleigh and everybody throughout the country reporting on this needs to say it over and over and over and over and over again, so people are offended, so people are emotional about it. It's a bad word. But it's a word being said. It's a word that has spread like wildfire on social media. People love to say the word on social media and call people of color that word, nigger, as a derogatory term. It needs to be said by journalists. It's a conversation that every newsroom needs to have, but you're not doing yourself any service by covering that word up. It's not a bad word. It's not a four-letter word that you can't say on air or on television. It is a hurtful word that when said by someone in a derogatory mention like this is, in public, this woman did this in public, it needs to be said. And people need to hurt from it. White people, black people, Hispanic, Latino, Native American, Asian. We all need to hear the word in the report, and we need to be emotional about it because it's time for the word to go away. But it seems to be being used more than ever when you look on social media. And it doesn't matter if it's a Republican. It doesn't matter if it's a Democrat. This is not political. I don't care if it's a Trump voter or a Trump hater. There are many racists on both sides of the aisle. This white woman, her name, Nancy Goodman, she is a racist. She can have 1,000 excuses. She also, for some reason, brought up that she has black friends. Good, Nancy. We're glad you have black friends. I don't think you have them anymore, but she used the word nigger, not N-word. That term has to stop. It has to stop. The other thing, don't forget these people. Don't forget their faces. Don't forget who they are, what they've done, what they've said. Don't forget them. Do not forget them. If you see these people coming up for jobs later on, or they want to be a university president or be on the Supreme Court, we don't need to forget these people. Don't forget their faces and don't let them off the hook. They said and did and pictured